15 years ago when I was, at my peak, you should say, it wasn't as much money as flowing around it is now. A lot of these younger artists they're getting rich before they get well off in their 20s. So I love the energy from that. And I just love that the fact that the culture, hip hop, is just, transcended into so many genres that you don't just have to be a gangster anymore. You can be who you are, make your music, appeal to your core audience, and just keep, building that audience to get bigger and bigger.
No doubt. So take us back, man. Grew up in the streets of Philly. What age did you get started with the hip hop and the rap thing?
Around 13, 14.
Okay.
It was a group from my city that was garnering mainstream success back then. It was called the Youngsters. And that was a group in Philly that, the younger guys kind of like mimic or, kind of looked up after. So after I seen, their success, I decided to start writing rhymes of my own. Prior to that, I was like almost like kind of like learning other people's rhymes off the radio or, mixtapes and stuff like that. And I never had the courage to write my own rhymes with my own thoughts and content. So around 13, 14 was the age that I decided to take it the next step and actually write down my own thoughts and my own raps.
Now, before you went like pre-mainstream and you got on the band and got on making a band and all that with Diddy, how competitive was it in Philly with all the crop of talent hip hop wise? Because you grew up in an era where Philly really started making a stamp in hip hop, and then we seen the legends that we came through hip hop in Philadelphia. So talk about how competitive it was while you were going through the grind of getting where you were.
Well, Philly is a real competitive state. We got a history of music going back to the sounds of music. Philadelphia Sounds of Music with Gamble and Huff, the whole neo soul movement with Jill Scott and Jaguar and Music, Soul Child and Blau. So we was always rich in music. But as far as the hip hop scene is very competitive, very gritty, very cutthroat, very it's almost like a thankless job to be a rapper here in Philly. Like you almost gotta be good because of everybody wanting to get into the business. So that limits that comes as like process of elimination. And that's where the battle realm was introduced. And that's where Philly kind of got hold of the battle realm. And it was so many rappers. The DVD era kind of spawned that era of rapper where, okay, we're not beefing on tracks, but we beefing on these DVDs. So it was like Philly was so competitive because it's like a Commonwealth state and niggas don't really have shit here. So either you playing ball, you doing something like sportsman, like you a musician, you a boxer, or you a street dude.
Yeah.
So it's very, the options, the resources is very limited here. So I decided to be, a musician. I came up under Black Key. Black Key was a producer that grew up in my complex, Bartram Village Projects. I moved out there during '87. So I was probably like 10 when I moved out there. I'm originally from North Philly, but like Southwest is really where I got my, kind of, matured and got into girls and got into music and really started coming up in like the street culture. But that was the vibe around then, man. Very competitive, very battle orientated. Everybody wanted to battle, and I even went to the same school with Cassidy. I was like 2 grades above his, but I could remember him going up the Broad Island battling. And I can remember battles in the lunchroom and everywhere you wanted to go, everywhere you wanted, everybody wanted to battle. So that was kind of like the filter to separate the whack niggas from, the niggas that really had a gift or the potential.
Right now, making a band, I heard you telling the story. Is it true that you were kind of already in negotiations with Diddy and working with Diddy before making a band?
Like I said, Black Key, he was from my project complex. He was fortunate enough to score 2 big placements on DMX's Depression album. One being Who We Be and the other We Right Here. So it wasn't Puff who I was in the talks with. It was actually DMX that I was in talks with his Bloodline label when, Iceberg was still up there and a couple other artists he was nurturing over there. So that was like the only real executive / artist that was really trying to boogie with me.
Word. So you get kind of introduced to the game early and you kind of see it for what it is from a business perspective. And
Right.
then you throw the whole reality TV aspect onto it when you start getting into the whole band thing. So talk about that. How different was, or how was it to disseminate the business of music and then deal with the day-to-day operations of reality TV at the same time?
Well, making a band was like a blessing in disguise. It was like a gift and a curse. Making a band is one of those moments where you like, man, I'm just gonna do something else, and then it happens.
Right.
You know, you get to that point, like I did everything I could possibly do. Like I did the mixtapes. I opened up for big time artists in my city. I paid to get on this type of showcase and this type of talent show. And then it was one of those things like I'm just done. And then I happened to get the call back to re-audition for Puff in New York City. You know, they all came to the collective city or states to do auditions. And then if you passed that audition, then you was put on a list for, you know, re-audition on or the callback list. To make a long story short, you know, going straight from the street to being under the cameras and reality TV where everything is documented 24/7. There was a lot of things that I wasn't prepared for. So I was a little rough around the edges. Like when we first had the re-audition for Puff, we was held in wherever we auditioned was right around 42nd and 8th Avenue. I mean 42nd and 8th Avenue, like right when you come in through the Holland Tunnel. We was in there for like 48 hours to 72 hours. No food, no water. And they was like, if you want to leave and get grub, then don't come back. So it was like, you know what I mean? I got in line and then I'd never seen daylight until 3 days later. We was stuck in one big room for 3 days.
Damn, and then talk about what did you like on probation at the time, and you was violated at that time as well too, right? For you taking that trip to New York.
Yeah, and he was like, you know, just going outside the city limits, that's a violation of your probation. I was home on probation of a drug charge that I caught in 97. I ended up getting convicted of in 99. So I did from 99 June to May 17th, 2000. And then the band came two years later, September of 2002. So that whole time I just was, you know, building up my demo, my songs, all the songs that I had wrote while I was incarcerated. I was recording those with Black Key. We was shopping it. Then I ended up signing a production deal with Black Key. So I never was signed to Bad Boy directly. For those not to know, I always was signed to my own. I was signed to a production deal, which Bad Boy signed the production deal, and the production deal paid me. So it was like almost a partnership when I was up there.
Does it surprise you how different music is now? Because I remember these times vividly, the 90s and 2000s and going into it as a teenager and really kind of paying attention to music because I was singing myself. And to look at where music's at now, like you were talking about the grind and sitting in there 48 hours. And then obviously we all remember you having to walk to get the cheesecake. And that was just the grind of what you had to do back then in the industry to earn your fucking stripes. And now we see today, all you got to do is grab your phone and have a trend and you hot. Talk about the difference.
And, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, sometimes you do things you want to do to get where you want to be. And everybody, you know, like pokes fun at us in a group about walking for cheesecake. But if you watch Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi made them wax the floors, wax the cars, fences, and then he was like, "What am I doing all this for?" And then he knew how to strike and block. So that was kind of the things that we were being taught. Standing outside the studio reading the Russell Simmons biography and all that. It was building our endurance, flying out of these different cities and states. The weather might not match. It might be cold in New York. Then we got to fly to Miami and it's hot. Then we got to go back to New York and it's cold again. So all these things was building our endurance. So at that time, we thought like we was being belittled and kind of like, you know, just picked on as being, you know, untapped potential and just doing any old thing because we wanted the chance. But later on in life, as we had to bid together in different cities and sleep in the same hotel rooms and be together all the time, it was just Puff bringing us together. And a lot of people didn't know that. But, you know, music is faster now. The way you receive it, the way people put it out, the way you purchase it. So the technologies has sped up with the way people receive their music and purchase their music, and is disposable, and music doesn't have a big shelf life like it used to have. Like Nas album used to rock for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And you lucky if you get 6 months because it's just so congested.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Uzi is coming, then Lil TJ is coming, then YM Melly might get out of jail, and then
Right.
Bobby Smurda got out of jail. Then they want to hear what Rowdy got to say. Now Jewels and Cam and Capo's back together.
Right.
It's changing, and there's so many genres of music. You could just jump from one generation to the next. You might be a Lox fan, you might be a Lox, and you might be a Little Bibby fan. You might be a Lil Durk, and you might be a Beanie Siegel fan. It's just so. It just is so much. It's like you can sit up days and hours on end just watching music and downloading music and this app and that app and this app. Is just so fast and so disposable and so microwavable. And that's why I think it's coming back to lyricism, when people are buying into artists with more substance and more things to say. People that talk about more current events, things that's going on right now with the Black Lives Matter and the COVID and the vaccine and all these things. And you're starting to see a lot of these things on Instagram, on social media. People are starting to put these things and these messages and its awareness in their music.
Right.
And it's working. Because you got to remember, hip hop went through a whole political, I'm black and to the motherland, everybody rocked the medallions, and then it got real jiggy. And then X came, it got real grimy with the Timbs and the Wu-Tang. You had to be dirty and grimy. And then Puff came and he brightened it up and made it designer and luxurious. And then his suit got too shiny for hip hop. And then, you know what I'm saying? It's just so many different moments to where we just, you could just hop on social media, get on live, YouTube, get your subscribers up, make your own beats, make your own choruses, produce your own videos, and the label come to you. Some of these artists is just on tour for years without having to come in and make a studio album.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Now talk about, your experience working with Diddy, because you had a lot of great things to say. You said pretty much that he kept his word to you. Did you have any reservations about working with him, back then, knowing what his history with his artists?
You got to understand, at that time, man, it wasn't so no saying it wasn't. You couldn't say no to a Diddy at that time, because the way that you got in the game, it was through major vessels, and he was one of them. And when he's telling you, let's rock, you rock. And you know what I mean? Sometimes it was beneficial financially, and sometimes it was beneficial for the game and experience and the things that I absorbed while spending my time up there. And just working with him is just a roller coaster ride. One day we might be in Miami working on the album, and then the next day we might be in LA doing some film work with Usher and Dre and Vidal. So it's just that, you know what I mean? It's just that one extreme to the next. So I just learned how to be patient, learn to never settle, and just to learn to write the beats that you don't like per se all the time. Like one of the things that I learned from Puff is what I just said. Like I'll get a beat tape, and even if I don't like the beat, I'll write a 24 to every 24 bars to every beat on that beat tape, whether I like it or not, just to keep my pen sharp. And these are some of the things that I apply now in a bad.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
All right, cool. What were you saying?
I was just saying, it was just like that whole Mr. Miyagi thing. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, but later you find out that, damn, that's why I did that. And, that was kind of like my experience up there.
Well, now I also heard you speak on your versatility and how they kind of wanted to, and I'm not speaking on Diddy personally, but just how like the labels wanted to box you into this gritty Philly rapper, just talking hard street bars all the time, when you had different dimensions to your game. Talk about that.
Well, we were just, and we during that time, we kind of came out parallel to G Unit. So the band and any artist after that got caught up in 50 Cent's G Unit kind of craze wave, where they could like kind of dominate it and control the climate of music for the next 3 to 4 years. Their reign was like almost a 3, 4, 5 year reign. And, a lot of the artists at that time, or a lot of the labels, they kind of tend to want to duplicate that success. So during that time, 50 Cent was everything. He was music. Where Drake is music now,
Yeah.
that was 50 Cent's position. So every artist that came out had to be kind of like tailor-made or kind of like tailored after 50 Cent. So during my time up there, that's what they wanted. They wanted me to kill a dog, knock over the fish tank, tie everybody up, shoot everybody in the head, run through brick walls. And it just was, I had so many colors to me and I had so many different ways to go. And they just was like really content on just one way to market and promote me. And I write so many different things. People don't know. Half of the material on the band album, as far as Sarah's R&B parts, I helped write them because she didn't have the know-how of the streets and the language and the linguistics that met all of our improvement. You know what I'm saying? To make it mesh and sound like one complete project.
Right now, back to the reality show. You were talking about making a band. Excuse me. You was talking about, you know, how that was kind of, a lot of the stuff was fake on there and scripted, how they would kind of set up the different scenes to have you guys going back together. Is that accurate? And do you think a lot of the new reality shows copied off that whole formula?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I mean, there's a lot of copy and paste and a lot of events don't add up with what's being said. Like me and Sarah might had to talk about Fred and then they'll play it like we was talking about Fred, but we wasn't. We just was having a discussion about Fred. But the way they copy and paste it, when you see it on Thursday at 10 o'clock, made it seem like we was talking about him. So the order of events don't always be the same. And I can see how to use that now in the love and hip hop. It's just, they just create storylines. Well, back then it wasn't no storyline. They just put us in one house and just start filming. And whatever happened. Well, to now they create environments for people to throw drinks on each other, and they create these storylines with beef. When we came in the game, it just was uncharted territory. It was like the deal was cut. We picked the we picked the band members, put them in the house, and start shooting.
Well, now,
so the Cheesecake Walk was a freestyle, was like Puffy because he didn't have anything for us to do. It was uncharted territory. You can see as the seasons went on with Danny Kane and Day 26, they start getting it right and start like improving on different things. Well, our season was just flat out, bottom line, 6 people from all walks of life in one place to make an album.
Right. Now, you and Chopper City a long time ago, you guys had words. Was that based off the show or something like separate that went back between you two? Excuse me.
No, basically, you got to understand with 6 members. So anywhere we went, city to city, state to state, they always paired us. So that was my little bro. So they always kind of paired us.
Okay.
Like oldest with the youngest, and then it would be Dylan and Fred and the 2 girls, Babs and Sarah. So I was always with Chopper. Me and Chopper shared rooms all around the country, all around the world. Okay. So it wasn't beef. It just was a thing like, I'm tired of this nigga. Just how brothers would fight. Like, yo, I'm tired of looking at this nigga. It wasn't a real deep issue that was unrepairable. It's just a normal tenacity of being around somebody long periods of time that's younger than you.
Right. So let me ask you this, because now I'm gonna take it on a deeper level real quick, because we know nothing runs and rules this world like Black entertainment, whether it be sports, music, on TV or whatever. And they like more than ever Black drama, and they like to portray that like we're buffoonery or we're buffoons or we're animals and things like that. Do you think that those reality TV shows, like how you guys were portrayed, how they kind of switched up words and things like that, were like a direct effect on like, okay, we're gonna make these brothers and sisters look a certain way? And you think they're continuing to do that now with reality TV and how we see it?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna complain about that, you might as well not even step in that realm. Yeah. Entertainment, it's show business, it's smoke and mirrors. So if you get in like, yo, the game is fake and they did this, then you're lying to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's the decision I had to make. This is show business, it's entertainment. A lot of things is going to be moved around and put in place for the consumer and the people that purchase and buy the music to feel some type of way. And that's why marketing, promotion, and writers and stuff sit in room hours on end trying to figure a way how they can get that money out your pocket for the product and items that they're selling. So with that being said, like I said, making the band, we was an all-Black cast. And at that time, we was competing with the Osbournes, which was the biggest, like top 3 shows on MTV at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that episode where me and Fred fought, we actually beat out the Osbournes on View, that episode. So once we created that kind of like rivalry, it was encouraged to have more fights. Like we would have Puff like, yo, if y'all get mad at each other, just slap each other, shout at each other. It's great for TV. So it was like that type of energy.
Yeah.
So, like trial and error. That didn't work. They didn't fuck with that episode. Oh, they really fuck with the episode where y'all putting hands on each other. Yeah, kind of repeat that behavior every episode. So that was, you know what I'm saying? So it really put a strain on recording music and being around each other, because it was like when we was around each other, we had the camaraderie. We all walked in the game at the same time for this one specific reason, and be part of a band, a hip hop group. And then outside, when the cameras is off, we good. But then when the cameras is on, everything is heightened. Every little word, every little thing. Yo, you drunk my soda. Yo, you ate the rest of my food. What you say? Don't be talking to me like that. But when the cameras was off, you wouldn't be so sensitive. You would probably let a couple things slide that you wouldn't when the cameras is on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, gotcha.
Right now, speaking coming out of that, going, when that was over, how did that help propel your career to the next level and what you wanted to do, being a star on MTV, worldwide, everybody knowing you?
After the band was disbanded, me, Chopper, and Chopper and Ballard was selected to stay on a probationary period.
Okay.
We got signed to the band through Bad Boy Universal in September of 2002. The album came out 2003. So we took a year to make the album, and by that time we was on the 3rd season. Make a long story short, I was on probation for 2 years. So ever since we was disbanded at the end of maybe 2004, I just was making music, taking it back up to Daddy's house, letting Puff hear it, recording with some of the hitmen, Dofat, Yogi, D-Dot, and just letting them hear music. So then when he decided time came to, give me my new situation, everything was there in place. And they got the distribution from Atlantic Warner Music Group. And then I got a deal with that imprint. So I actually got 2 deals out of Puff, the band album and my solo imprint.
Word. When did you start getting into battle rap? It wasn't long after that we started getting into the battle rap scene too, right?
Well, yeah, I planted my seed on making a band by battling Jay Mills. Jay Mills was like a rap champion in Harlem in New York, just going around, just running through the competition. So it was like one of those things where Ness can't walk out of this because Jay Mills been killing everybody. And once I went the distance with him, that was like kind of my way that I guaranteed was going to make the group. So I wasn't supposed to make it out of that battle with Jay Mills. That was supposed to be the end of Ness from Philly. Like I was supposed to go home the day after that because I was supposed to be embarrassed. But because I wasn't embarrassed and we went the distance, that kind of like solidified my spot with the whole making a band thing. And then, they came to me telling me like, yo, you definitely got a spot here and you got a future past the actual group. Just lay low, do the band shit. This is your mission right now. Make sure that's successful. And then we start talking about any solo efforts after this. But they was telling me before I even got picked that they had big plans for me and all that stuff. So I just was kind of laying low doing the group thing because I was always promised a deal after the smoke had cleared with the whole group thing.
Now, you were talking about a year ago that you guys were supposed to do a reunion. Did that ever happen, or still talks for you guys to do a reunion? Yeah, I love my brothers and sisters from the band, man. You gotta understand, we came in the game at a pivotal time in hip hop. Puff, he was coming off the case with Shine and Jennifer Lopez, so his business was real rocky. He was still looking for distribution, so we kind of gave Puff a makeover with the whole making a band thing, and him coming in and being like elder statesman, nurturing and developing talent right in front of the consumer. So, when we came in, it just was different. And to where it is now, to where you don't really have to, be co-signed anymore. You could go viral and then have a whole career and be a millionaire within 6 to 18 months. Where when we came in the game, you had to be ushered in. You had to have that call from the label to be on the couch with Terrence and Roxy. You had that call from the label to go on and be on Soul Train with Don Cornelius. You had to have that call to go on and be on The View with Barbara Walters and Star Jones and shit like that. Well, to now, it's just you go viral and you click 1 million views within a day, and you're getting charged,
you could start charging for appearance and performing fees like almost the next week simultaneously. So like the filter is going in hip hop. There's no more artist development. A lot of these new artists, they have mental problems. You can see it by how they carry it on social media, and you know, just they lives, how they carry it outside of music with all their court cases and with any type of legal troubles that they go through. With before, you know, we had to go through like almost like 3 or 4 hours of probing, even before we auditioned for making a band. They were sitting there asking us questions. We just had to talk into a camera. Yo, what do you think does it take to make it in the music business? What is your top 5 rappers? What is your top 5 producers? Like they want to see where you at mentally before they let you into their company's secrets and, you know, the access of their company, you know, network and shit like that. Like we had a lot of things that a lot of these artists that Koch and TBT didn't have. You know, they can't get a call. We can't. You know, TBT artists can't get on Soul Train with Don Cornelius, where Puff and Don Cornelius had that relationship, where Puff and Stephen Hill had that relationship, where Puff and, you know, because he'd been in the game so long, the enemies, he made it alliances. And some of these alliances, you know, was beneficial for us. And it worked in our favor, and we sold 500,000 within 6 months of a group that nobody never heard and nobody knew what we would sound like together.
Talk about some of them. The music contracts. We always hear the dark stories about the music industry, and obviously, if you don't know your paperwork, you're bound to be fucked. But you did know your paperwork, and you were real savvy with that. Talk about some of those contracts and talk about the business back then.
Over spilled milk. The game is a cutthroat game. It's not designed for the artist to win. Even Puff told me, he was like, "Yo, it got a time that hip hop didn't declare me, you know, top dog, and I was doing walkthroughs and appearances in the club for 2,500 for where 2-3 years prior we was doing stadiums, we was doing big tours with explosive and pyrotechnics. So you got to just, you know, you got to weather the storm, and it's just like anything else. Sometimes Ford don't sell the most cars, sometimes Toyota does. So you just got to weather the storm. So with me, just being part of a black historical label like that, I just use all the things that I learned, and it just kept me in the game so long. Being on time, being punctual, and the same people that, you know, paid me to do things when I was popping, me being on time and be showing up and not being high, not looking like a bum or not looking like I just woke up out of my sleep. When I wasn't popping, these same people paid me to come out and rock with them. And these are the things that I learned from being a bad boy. Just being business minded, being on time means so much. Being punctual, having that energy. You know what I mean? Bright eyed, bushy tail. You know what I mean? Looking presentable, being well groomed. All these things it helps you because people don't want to do business with somebody they can't depend on.
That's a fact. Earlier you talked about relationship with DMX. Talk about him and how you affected when you heard that he passed away when he did.
It was sad. At the time, I thought, you know, X was dealing with a lot of demons, and through his interviews, you could see him, addressing it. Like he didn't feel that he had a lot of time left. But then there was a period. Then, you know, it was he had a lot of rough spots, and then he came up out of that. Then he started performing and being more vocal and doing more interviews and, you know, just being more visible. And I thought that he was going to be okay. And then when I heard news of his death, it just came out of, you know, left field and his passing. And, you know, like I studied DMX, and that I was a big purveyor of getting over there and really being a flagship artist of his bloodline imprint. Well, when it never went down and I ended up with Puff, he was always kind of like uneasy about that, but it still was always love. So when I heard of him passing, I was like he was one of the great ones. He represented the have-nots, the guys like me, the dark complected, the the people that, you know, the guy they always put in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like the have-nots, come from a broken home. You know what I'm saying? He had trouble with his family, so his story was kind of parallel to mine. So I studied myself. I studied a lot from him and well as a lot of others, but he was one of the main ones that I studied from. And just, you know, I mean, I kind of fell in love with his story and, you know, the climb from where he was at, his drug abuse. I've dealt with a lot of drug abuse in my family, a history of it, my mother and father, to me dealing with it. And it just, it just was rocky, and it just was a sad time in hip hop for me to hear of his passing.
How did you take the fame at one point when you were at the height of your career with the band, and then kind of I don't want to say falling off, but not having that level of success and kind of going back to a level where it was a lot more humbling? How was that?
Being famous is a guilty pleasure, because the minute you're famous, it becomes annoying. But the minute people stop asking you to take pictures and sign autographs, you want that that energy back again around you. So it's like it's some good days some days are better than others. And some days you want to, you're a victim of your celebrity, or you might be a victim of, whatever type of momentum you got at the time. And sometimes you have unwanted energy, and sometimes you have overwanted energy. So I say that to say this: I fell off the deep end a couple of times, but I pulled back, and I had a couple of humbling processes and moments that just helped me pull back and be more balanced than I was. Because all the women coming at you, it's just it could take you by storm, and if you're not balanced enough, you can easily fall in one of these pitfalls, and sometimes you can't recover.
Yeah.
Want to be one of those artists that couldn't recover.
Talk about Cassidy, man, and I know you got a good relationship with him, but talk about what he means right now to the battle hip hop game. Obviously, probably one of the highest paid, artists right now, and I'm the battle rap. Talk about your relationship with Cassidy and what he means to the hip hop community.
Well, as I said before earlier in the interview, me and Cassidy went to the same school. So you got to understand, Central was like the top academic school in Philadelphia. It's college preparatory school.
Okay.
So Cassidy always had the smart, and I knew he always had a way with words, but his energy that he's brought to battle rap for being away from it for so long is unmatched. And everybody that kept him out, look at him now, and it just awareness that he brings to people that really per se doesn't follow battle rap is just big, and it's just enormous. And he's doing really well, and he won his last battle with Hitman. It was clear.
Yeah.
I just feel safe that I can call a personal friend of mine and actual fellow Philadelphian the highest paid battle rap history.
So with that said, how has this reemergence in battle rap helped battle rap? Because you've obviously been in for a long time. You've seen the business in front and behind the scenes. So how has Cassidy's emergence helped battle rap, and where is battle rap now to you?
I just think him being shrewd, and just holding off for these years, it made his payout even bigger. And I think the energy that he brings to it is wanted. There's a lot of haters out there, and see Cassidy is a shell of him former self, but I don't think so. I think he's really aware of what he's doing, and he has a lot of control. And I think he's just a force to be reckoned with. I've been doing it for a long time, but I wasn't commercially successful as Cassidy.
Right.
And I just think that the amount of money they pay him and the attention they put on his name and what he brings to it, I think it matches his pay rate.
Is he intimidating to the battle rappers? Because you've been in that game too, and he wasn't received very well given his success and things like that. They wanted to question his battle rap record and the 5,000 and all that stuff, and just question him in the game altogether. So was it an intimidation thing, or did he have to earn his stripes in there, in your opinion?
Again, Hitman's first mistake was actually what Cass is saying. Not Cass has a way of getting into the battle rapper's head even before the actual battle. He just has a way of finessing and talking and just kind of like controlling the whole climate, and that's what he's been doing, and it's been working for him. And I just think that you really just got to let Cassidy talk, and everybody is, because every time somebody battles him, it's supposed to be the end of him. It's supposed to be like a career-ending performance, and Cassidy's no longer supposed to be like declared 5,000 and all that. So once you start like tapping into that, the 5,000 and 0 and all that, then you're just officially gave him that advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So once you start paying attention and commenting on it, yeah, I don't believe the 5,000 and show me and where and
Yeah.
he got you.
Yeah.
He got you. It's a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So even before the battle, even the date of the battle, you already mad, you upset because he got over on you. Then you got your people back home. I don't like the way you carried it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that nigga talk to you like that. And then you dealing with that. And then you bringing your homies with you. Then Cat's paying for professional security. They ain't going for the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard to beat that. It's hard to defeat that. And he just comes from an era where he likes to strategize. And it's been working for him to the T.
So what's next for you, man? In the with hip hop and the battle rap, what's on the agenda for you?
Good question, because I planted a seed in battle rap, and it's been beneficial, and it gave me a platform to introduce myself to the new fans. Mm-hmm. But of late, I've created a freestyle, almost like a mixtape. Freestyle on my Instagram called "Let Me Borrow This Beat," and it just took off and got it just grew a life of its own. And I dropped a CD with DJ Alamo from the Coalition DJs last year. It got some looks, and it was on some good websites, and it got some good streaming. And I'm just continuing that momentum. But now I'm dropping a Lou Phil and Friends, which will be like a 9-song EP. I got Benny the Butcher on there. I got Method Man. Got Corey Guns, Vado, Cassidy, Beanie Siegel, and we got some shit on the way with Jadakiss and Styles.
You like the streaming better than it was back in the day? Is it more beneficial to artists, you think?
Honestly, I'm still learning it.
Okay.
I'm in my 40s now, so technology, like I'm just starting to get, really familiar and comfortable with how to use the Instagram, the iPhone, and the Twitter, and use that to the best of your ability. But I just think it's beautiful. Honestly, I come from that era where we like to go to Tower Records and officially buy the hard copy.
Yeah, me too.
So long gone are those days, but everything is so microwavable. But I mean, you just got to stand the test of time. You can't let people know how old you are. And you got to do both. You got to listen to your vinyl. You got to listen to your CDs. And you got to stream and download and do all of these things and enjoy all of these outlets to absorb this music.
Or what's your thoughts on Philly hip hop now, man? We grew up in an era where we like it a little different than what it is now. But that's no disrespect to these young brothers and sisters and they sound right now. So what's your thoughts on Philly hip hop in particular right now?
Well, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate, man. I'm tired of being politically correct. A lot of trash. And I'm glad music is where it's at now, so you could pick apart which song that you like from these artists. I mean, I don't have to listen to a whole song from a whole album or a whole body of work from a specific artist just to hear my favorite song from them. And I buy that one song from them for 99 cents and enjoy it and keep it moving. So what I mean? I just like that the music has created a lot of black business owners, a lot of black entrepreneurs. A lot of young black entrepreneurs. Like these guys are becoming millionaires at 17, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Almighty J's and the Little Uzis and like, all these guys is like they big time artists with big boy cars, big boy properties, big boy jewelry. And back then it was unheard of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And these little guys pulling up in Phantoms and Lamborghinis and shit. I dream car within 6 months of performing.
Right.
Man, I love it that they get poked to flip that middle finger back up at the system. I love it.
Who's the hottest in Philly? My last question is going to be who's the hottest in Philly right now, up and coming artist that we should be looking out for?
Leaf Ward.
Great.
Leaf Ward.
Yeah,
Leaf Ward.
I agree.
Now OT the Real.
Yeah.
Representing Philly, Leaf Ward, Zai Sosa, Rico Havoc, Diamond Street King, definitely PNB Mean, You got it's just so many, man. Tierra Whack.
Yeah.
We just killing it, man. Just killing it.
Well, we definitely appreciate your time, the legendary E Ness in the motherfucking podcast, man. We definitely, man, we went and grabbed the band album when that shit came out, hard copy at the Best Buy in the Circuit City, man, and definitely he was one of our favorites, man. So we appreciate you. Drop your social media handles, man. Anything you want to give to the people promotion-wise, man, before we get up out of here.
Definitely. I've been hacked out of my verified account. Bear with me. All of my people on my verified account. My verified account is 215 E Ness. I've been emailing Instagram day by day and trying to get back in it, but you can catch me over at my backup page at E Ness _215 on Instagram, at 215 E Ness on Twitter, and E Ness Mathis on Facebook. Any producers, send all your beat submissions to my email, ness215@gmail. That's NESS215@gmail. Get ready for this new Feeling Friends. It's action-packed. A lot of celebrity guests on there. And just get ready for this new music and these new freestyle, these new mixtapes, and this new project. Battle coming up soon. Got one in October with Big T on MC Wars. That's the same battle league that brought you Fredro versus Keith Murray.
Okay.
And then I'm on a smaller league out in Ohio against Mac Myron. No Smack appearances this year. Not yet, but we still keep my hopes up high. We're trying to rebuild that relationship over there. Get back on that platform where my fans want to see me at. But Battle Academy, I just finished battling Danny Myers. Had a 2-on-2 with Kaboom. So make sure y'all go get those both on VOD at the Battle Academy on Instagram.
Definitely appreciate it. One more before you get out of here. I think I should ask you this about Meek, because a few months ago, a lot of people in the city was mad at Meek, and they were pretty much saying that. And how do you feel about him? Like does he have an obligation to put younger artists on from the city? What's your take on that, being an OG from the city?
Yeah, just being from the city and watch Meek rise and come up from his circumstances and be successful as he is, it just be a lot of pressure. And at the end of the day, he really doesn't owe anybody anything, because I can remember a time where it was very few artists really reaching back to lend him a hand and to propel him. So that's just kind of the climate here. Is really I get on and I pick and choose who I really want to help, and everybody else just gotta suck it up. But I think he's just doing a good job of it, just staying out of trouble and just just staying in the mix, because it's hard. Because Philly is just real. It's just real gritty, real cutthroat, and it's just like if you can't do nothing for me, it's like that fuck you attitude. Right. And it's always been here, and it's been around for years and decades, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Maybe in the future with one of these younger artists, but Meek is he's the top dog right now. He's the most recognizable, and it's to be a lot of weight got to carry around, but you can't save everybody, and that's just the fact of the matter. You can't save everybody. Very well put, man. We got E Ness here on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, man. Yeah.
Hey, bro, listen, we right around the corner, man. We about to open up the grand opening of our studio right outside the Atlantic City area in South Jersey in August. We love to bring you down, man, and chop it up with you. Have you come in here.
Pandemic over, so let's do it.
Let's do it, bro. Appreciate you, man. E Ness on the podcast. Salute.
Peace.